mandating vaccines, right? As a basis for employment, which seemed to be what he was doing in the first half. When I asked him about, but to work there, apparently you have to be vaccinated against measles, mumps, rubella, and he admitted that's true. And then he said it's the COVID vaccine. That's got a problem. So that's where I felt that the conversation kind of diverted into a different direction. Then he explained how he thought it could damage your body, which, you know, he's a right to his opinion. It is true, we have not seen the long-term effects of this vaccine. I'm not going to pretend that I know what's going to happen 10 years from now.
There are some people who truly believe that, and there's really, what are you going to say to them? There is no proof.
I mean, how long has it actually been in real human beings' bodies? Not that long, considering the time frame you need to study this. So,
which is why usually vaccines and all medications take a long time to get approved, because you want to wait and see for a while whether there's going to be anything negative,
right?
Any cumulative effects.
Going to change your DNA.
If somebody says, I don't trust it, what are you going to do? And
then it goes from there to, well, can we keep these people out of work? Because he's in healthcare, there's a particular concern that if he's unvaccinated, it presents a risk to everybody in the workforce.
And, there's a story today up in Seattle. They might have to fire up to 400 cops. Now, they don't have enough police in Seattle, and they're realizing that. And now the mayor is not saying definitively that she's going to fire the 400 who haven't gotten vaccinated, because it's going to cause a lot of stuff. There's going to be nobody showing up on a 911 call. So
I think that was a good stick to use, but I don't think you should carry it all the way to but they're going to say, well, we don't fire people, then no one will believe in the mandate.
Well, then you're going to be without 400 cops.
Well, this is what Kaiser just put a bunch of people on leave. It's kind of a way of saying, well, the next step is to fire you unless you get that vaccine. Will they do that? I don't know.
Well, maybe they can replace them. Maybe not. Does that cause...
I know, there's a lot of jobs for the wanting right now.
Does that cause more death on the other end?
Yeah, it's risky to do the vaccine mandate when there's so many unfilled jobs in the country.
You're trying to save lives on one end, it may cost you lives on the other end.
And some of these jobs, like you said, are specialized in the medical field and even in the police field.
Yeah.
Not just a cubicle worker that anybody...
You can't mince new doctors and nurses overnight.
Yeah, and Dr. Rake is an anesthesiologist. I mean, it's a specialized field, so I don't know. I do kind of sympathize with them, but I just was trying to figure out...
Well, there's no clear answer to this. Sometimes there isn't... Sometimes there isn't a great answer.
No, but in this show, we like things black and white. Clear. That's how you were describing it. Just no middle ground. Just you're this way or that.
Well, yeah, in a lot of cases, it is black and white, and people try to fudge it up. In this case, if a guy says, hey, I'm not trusting it long term, I don't have an answer for it.
Yeah, because you don't have a long term. But you're confident enough you're getting another shot, so, you know.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to get a booster, and that's, I'm taking that risk. There's a lot of risks you take in life, and that's not the biggest risk.
All right, more coming up.
John and Ken Show, and Mark Runner has the news, KFI AM 640.
Critical thinkers wanted.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Nope, it's not Lori Loughlin or Felicity Huffman. I'm Mark Bronner, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. 2 men have been convicted in Boston in the first trial of Operation Varsity Blues, the college admissions scandal. The men paid big money to get their kids into USC as fake athletes.
The verdict today proves that even these defendants, powerful and privileged people, are not above the law.
Acting U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts, Nathaniel Mandel, says the men used fraud and bribes to get what they want, and what they did was an affront to hardworking students and their parents. This report brought to you by Southern California Toyota dealers who make it easy. The Coast Guard says the oil spill off the coast of Huntington Beach may have been initiated by an anchor strike several months or even a year ago. Captain Jason Neubauer says the pipeline's encased in concrete, and video of the break shows marine growth on the exposed pipe.
We're confident now that it was a large vessel. We've done, our Marine Safety Center headquarters has done an analysis of the metric force tons that would be required to move that pipeline 105 feet, and it could not be a fishing vessel type, smaller vessel like that.
He says a survey by the oil company last October showed the pipeline was intact. He says investigators are now going through a year's worth of data to try to figure out what caused the 13-inch break. A man from Panorama City has been arrested for allegedly sexually assaulting a homeless woman in Van Nuys.
It was very violent and it was very scary for our victim.
The woman was in a sleeping bag last month under a security camera when a man started touching her and dropped his pants. Detective Leslie Brenner says the woman fought back and the guy took off, but returned about 10 minutes later and tried again.
It was a heinous, calculated attack. Not only did he do it once, but he went twice. And there's also additional footage where he chased her around.
The man chased her for several blocks, but the woman was able to call police from a cell phone. A species of menacing mosquitoes that has been in LA County for 10 years is getting more prolific.
These new mosquitoes prefer to bite people, and they are daytime biters. So in the shade, in people's backyards, they bite.
Suzanne Clue with LA County Vector Control tells KTLA that Aedes, that's A-E-D-E-S mosquito, only needs a few drops of water to breed, and they can lay hundreds of eggs that can last a year. Vector Control officials have set traps to catch the skeeters. The most, that word always breaks me up. Most of them have been caught in the northeast part of LA, in Sun Valley and Sunland. Clue says the plan is to introduce sterile male mosquitoes into the population to chill out the Aedes. The mosquitoes have also shown up in Orange County. An American delegation is expected to meet with the Taliban in Qatar this weekend.
They'll discuss U.S. interests, including continued safe passage for American and special immigrant visa Afghans, and the Taliban's earlier agreement to form an inclusive government and respect all Afghan rights, including women and girls.
ABC's Andy Field says the meeting doesn't mean the U.S. is recognizing the Taliban government in Afghanistan. The meeting will be the first in-person, high-level talks the U.S. has had with the militant group since American troops left the country. President Biden will not assert executive privilege over documents requested by a House committee investigating the January 6th attack at the Capitol. Press Secretary Jen Psaki says there are unique circumstances that warrant the release of the documents.
The President has determined that an assertion of executive privilege is not warranted for the first set of documents from the Trump White House that have been provided to us by the National Archives.
Former President Trump attempted to claim executive privilege to try to block the release. Companies that operate in various countries could soon have a new tax. Nearly 140 countries have agreed on a tentative deal to create a minimum corporate tax of 15% on the biggest internationally active companies. President Biden has been leading the push for the proposal. And Kanye West is getting schooled.
School in Simi Valley that's all about basketball and education, of course. Donda Academy, named after Kanye's late mom, will be a tuition-free private K-12 school. The school's already gotten commitments from several highly rated high school players. There's no word on when classes will start, but the website appears to be accepting applications. Other celebrities, including Oprah, opened an academy for girls in Africa in 2009, and Lakers star LeBron James opened the I Promise School in his hometown of Akron, Ohio in 2018. Amy King, KFI News.